This is it, folks. The most majestically moronic trope in movies today. The mindless fuckwit vaulting over the shield wall. Look at this crap. Here's one in close-up. His feet are actually up in the air and his head is down on the ground. He is going to his death. He has completely backflipped, helpless in the middle of heavily armed opponents. Now, all this bullshit can ever achieve is to become a human pincushion on the ground until your opponents remember to stop gang stabbing you. Or this god-awful sequence in The Eagle. Just watch these fucking imbeciles climbing on top the testudo to await a sword thrust through the gaps. When that happens, you see the inevitable outcome, human pincushion in the dusk. Or watch this pointless suicide gymnastics in The Mummy Returns. Yes, it's fiction. Will he survive? Look, that he must. Wow. Will he survive long enough not to get completely trampled? Oh, it's happening in the movies all the time, but sadly the myth that archery was a weapon of mass destruction is there in movies too, and it's about to get full reign here. Whoa. Just look at this crap. Mown down as if by heavy machine guns, and from hundreds of feet away. How is it that man can be shot in the back by an arrow shot from the front? Yeah, why are so many of them falling forward? Arrows don't even knock you down in the first place like bullets do, so yeah. Hang on, why did these archers just exchange ranks then? Just stand still and shoot again and again. Stop confusing this with musketry 3,000 years later. Oh. Well, folks, you just saw the ludicrously long range at which arrows would actually blow around in a light breeze, yet we see them mowing down armoured and shielded men like water cannons. It's happening in the movies all the time now, and if you're wondering just what Sean Bean's going to die of this time, think instead of who is going to die way too early, like the giant Greek hero Ajax, for example. That's in there. Aias in Greek. He who Homer writes had a shield like a city wall. Well, he does here. That's one good thing. Check. But Hector is gunning for him. And here at the beginning of the Long War, Hector, mightiest warrior in Troy, homes in on him. Let's see how this goes. Ajax wastes his advantage to drop on an ineffectual bear, which is about the last thing that would ever work between two opponents both wearing rigid body armor. Why does Hector have his arms back there? Why? It's like pro wrestling at its worst. Well, yeah. Don't actually try a bear hug in real life, by the way. Just don't. There's so many ways to get out of it. Yep. There, no kidding, that is actually a mortal blow. Hector has killed Ajax at the very start of a 10-year war. Oh my god. That does not happen in the Iliad. Well might these guys be astounded, because Ajax actually survived the whole 10-year war, and goddamn Hector didn't. You said it, guys. Now for reality. Combats between the giant hero Ajax and Hector tended to look like this. Thank you, Peter Connolly. Or it might look like this. We see Hector and Ajax dueling over the Greek ships. Net gain by changing the story? Nothing. Now, although I hate the lurid cutouts in the sides of the shields, real ancient Mycenaeans didn't need those to rest their spears on, since they could hack it, I do love the stand-up clash of spearmen, taking care to maintain a front line. Yes, ambivalent feelings alert. On the one hand, I warmly applaud the effort to look like they did in the Pylos frescoes, those helmets shown in inset there. But, as seen on the famous lion hunt dagger, I like the way he leans into the shield. That's great, as you see here. But these guys do look over and around their shields, whereas these guys hilariously shut down the basic survival sense of sight. Well, 5 out of 10. You tried to show them leaning into the shields. That's good, up to a point. But they did need to see their enemy so they don't get killed. But I hate this tendency in the age of silly computer graphics excess, cast of thousands of megapixels, to fill in the entire landscape right through to the horizon with one impossibly deep formation. Please, they pose a grave danger to every man stuck in them. Danger of trampling, danger of not being able to go to the toilet, for example. Yeah, this is probably who was responsible. That's actual footage there. But Odysseus, one of the Greek heroes, Sean Bean there, persuades Agamemnon to retreat, apparently because of those damned archers. Somehow they hear him and obey. Look at Agamemnon, he looks like he couldn't hear jack shit. But how the hell do these men hear it? Maybe they had mental telepathy back then. Bronze mental telepathy or something. So, the Greek headlong retreat begins. It does happen in the Iliad. What follows after it doesn't. This is the moment when the Trojans can win the war by literally driving the invaders back into the sea and maybe burning their ships. But instead, they sight these 20 or so archers and, I'm not making this up, they retreat headlong like naughty children rather than face those ineffectual toys. And there's Hector spreading the word, let's get back out of here! And look, they're like sperm cells realising they're heading towards a gullet. This is not what happens in the Iliad, and for good reason. The Iliad is good. That's right, final victory in the war is there for the taking, but they toss it away just to avoid about 24 minor injuries.
We're in range of their archers. Have our men gather our fallen. We're in range of their archers. Have our men gather our fallen.
Honestly, have you ever heard anyone criticise this shit just before I did now? Look, that's how you know you're watching the Jaguar Night. I see what the others... This is believed to be the gayest thing ever. Look, in the Iliad, this guy is the greatest Trojan hero, yet here he serves to slit Troy's throat. Supposedly, Troy's great hope has been shown purchasing Troy's doom twice now. Once by sacrilegiously cheating in the single combat, and once by just throwing away victory when it's there for the taking, just to avoid probably 24 minor arrow wounds. Truly I say to you now, that horse has its ass located on its rider's shoulders.